Alright guys and gals, welcome back. Let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. Today I have for you, I'm sorry, that was just horrible intro right there. I have for you guys today the Custa collection. And you guys are probably thinking, what the heck are these? These are from Seki City, Japan, and they are Japanese folded steel folding knives. I was kind of salivating over these. I want to say about a good 4 to 5 years ago. I pulled the trigger on these, and I ended up spending a lot of money because they're folded steel and they're all handmade. And though from what I understand, they are not made in very large quantities. They are made, I don't know if they're really made to order. I was told they are made to order, but I could be wrong, because my sources that tell me these things are other knife enthusiasts like myself. And I'm not entirely sure that their information is completely accurate, but they know a little bit more than I do, and I kind of respect them in that such. So I will tell you right now that these knives are not exactly cheap. I can tell you this one right here is $150, and this one is the Custa Katana Folder, 4.25 inch closed. That's what Amazon says what this is. Anodized blue, and then you got the black painted over. This is aluminum, open pillar design. What I find weird about this particular knife is that it has jimping on the liner just on one side. So I don't understand that. And of course, my ever too not so favorite tip down carry pocket clip, which cannot be reversed. It's only strictly tip down. But what I really like about this knife is the blade pattern you see there is not etched. This thing has a VG10. It's like a pattern. I think this is like sandwiched. 2 different types of metals sandwiched. So I think the VG10 is the core, and on the outside is just regular, just a different steel. I could look up the information, but it's gonna, if you want to look it up, you can. It's still on Amazon. Custa Katana Folder, that's this one. And I really, really do like this one. It's really nice. I have not carried these knives. I've just collected them. I've put them in my collection because I am too scared to carry them because of how beautiful they really are. Because I have a couple of swords that are folded steel. I'm saying that as an exaggeration. I have a few swords that are folded steel. Are very expensive. I've never had folding knives that were folded steel till now, 4 years ago, back when I thought about it. This is a contoured G10 handle. Has a very interesting shape to it. And yes, these are bumps. And then they kind of grinded down and left the pattern on this G10 handle scale. And very interestingly, this one is tip down. I don't know how I just noticed that. But the most of these are literally tip up carry. Very interesting pocket clip. And I think you can interchange this for this side or this side if you really wanted to. And you can see the folds in that one. Very beautiful. Custa Seki, Japan. And this one is they call it the MC1 Damascus. Was that right? I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm looking up the right one here. I think that's the one. MC1 Damascus. But the pattern on there is, it's real. It's not that fake stuff. This one was not cheap. Price tag on this guy falls around about 119, and it shows that there's only 5 left. But these are handmade, all of them. I think they're really, really nice for what they are. And then there's this one. It's one of my favorite, the Japanese Bushi sword. Also, just like this one, the single liner that has jimping. And then here it is, folded. This one's folded, not Damascus. I guess that one's the Damascus one, but I still think that's folded in some way. This is folded, and you can tell there's still some minor hammering that's been left on the blade, which is really nice. I really like what they did with that. Seki Japan. And this one, the Bushi sword. Gotta try to find that Bushi sword. Oh, it's 130 even for this guy. Liner lock, yes. This is more of kind of like a dress knife. It's not very long. They're not very long. This is supposed to be a blue anodized pivot, or not pivot, excuse me, thumb stud. And, oh yeah, it is blue anodized pivot, so I wasn't lying too much. Also, aluminum handle. So these two are aluminum handles. This one's G10. And then here's this one. And this one is, I think it's called the Tea Ceremony from M. Custa. This one has a sheath that can be put on the belt. And it has this really neat design on there. One of my friends, when he saw this, he's like, that's a cabbage. And he might be right. That could be a cabbage. But this is called the Tea Ceremony because this one's supposed to represent kind of like a green tea motif in color. And you got the kanjis right there. You got another couple kanjis and chasse, I think. I'm not entirely sure. You got a lanyard hole there, which I think is pretty interesting. I mean, these two have lanyard holes. You know, the Bushi sword and then this blue anodized katana. And this one has a little bit of weight to it compared to all the 3 of them. And then also kind of like that pattern, that same pattern that you see that was on this one right here. Blue anodized here and some sort of anodization here that's a little bit darker. Open pillar construction. And I'm not entirely sure what wood this is. I was trying to look it up on Amazon. I don't think they have this one in stock. But the wood is supposed to be some sort of... man, now I need to look it up because I know that they had it. They don't even have it anymore. Well, if you're able to find it, it's actually quite interesting. This is a very, very interesting feel. And I really do like the color on it. And the handle's a little bit chunky, but you can actually fit all digits on there. And this is probably one of the bigger blades out of all these. Just a little bit longer than usual if I put it up next to each one. The blade is actually quite long. Just a little bit. So we'll just go ahead and get into the specs of these knives for the M. Custa collection. Oh, and this sheath, by the way, is kind of like a mixture between leather and nylon. It's not a bad sheath. I actually wore this once just to see how it would wear, and it was actually quite nice. But I'm not one for... I like pocket knives, not, you know, pouch knives, but I mean, it's still cool to have nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get into the specs. I'm trying to be really careful with these knives because they're kind of, to me, they're one of a kind. And they're not cheap by any means. So this is kind of just like my collecting knives, not the knives I would really want to use. Kind of a connoisseur to these things. Kind of. Alright, I don't know what I was doing. I was waiting for the thing to turn on. It was already on. So this one, the Tea Ceremony, 4.40 ounces, and that is without the sheath. If you want to know what it is with the sheath, for those of you out there who are kind of particular in that sense, 5.40, like that's really going to make too much of a difference. The thing's going to be on your belt. And then the Bushi sword, 3.30 ounces. The G10, 3.78 ounces. And the folding katana, 3.37 ounces. So they kind of vary, each one. Like I said, Amazon has them, so if you're really looking to want one of these, you can own one if you're willing to spend Spyderco prices, because that's basically what this is. Good thing it's not Benchmade prices, although it can very easily turn out that way depending on certain models from Custa. So you're looking at a little bit more than 7.5 inches with a 3.5 inch blade on the katana. The Bushi sword, you are looking at a little bit less than 3.5, so 3.25, and about 7.5 inches overall for the Bushi. The tea ceremony is going to be a little more than 3.5 inches, so I want to say close to about 4-inch reach, with an overall 8.25 inches. Ooh, 8.25 inches length overall. I hope I didn't just screw up that tip. Please don't tell me I screwed up that tip. Nope. Okay, I'm good. Because it got caught. The tip got caught on that little circle right there. I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Please tell me you're okay. Yeah, these are some of my favorites, so I just don't want to screw them up, you know? These things are not exactly really easy to come by now. Oh, and this guy right here, the G10. Yeah, about a little more than 3.5 inch, but 4-inch reach on the blade, and a little, yeah, I want to say about 8.25 inches overall for this guy right here. So yeah, these are really, really, they're one of a kind, because I think each one that you get are going to slightly different in appearance because of the construction being handmade. So every process is going to be, you can see that through the craftsmanship. So if you're into it, go ahead and look it up on Amazon. That's where I got these. I've seen a couple of used ones on eBay, but the ones that I saw were a little beaten up. At least these are taken care of. So I oil these, I wipe them down. And after this video, that's what I'm going to do again. I'm going to oil them and wipe them down before I put them away, ultimately. But I think these are really nice. It's a little bit on the expensive side, like Spyderco prices, and they can climb up to Benchmade prices, depending on certain models. And there's quite a few that Custa makes, way more than these. There's a few more models, different colors, and obviously different blade styles. So prices are going to climb up there depending on what you're looking for and what you're interested in. But you know, that's all up to you. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I've been trying to make an effort to try and tell people that at the end of videos, but I keep forgetting. So please support the channel a little bit if you like what I'm putting out there. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve so I'm not so boring, if I am anyways, any help would be greatly appreciated. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a bunch.